my butt. Suck my butt.
How would you children like to suck on my chocolate salty balls?
Oh, you mean like a chocolate candy?
No, I mean my balls.
Ladies and the gentlemen, welcome back. Yes, welcome back
Suck my butt.
to another edition of S13E01, a South Park review.
Suck my butt.
And we are back. Ladies and gentlemen, we're back for another fine edition. It's the season 13 premiere. SMB, a South Park review.
Let's get it.
Updating the graphics here if you're watching this live on YouTube. Or watching this on YouTube as it premieres. As I've got to update all the stuff. Wasn't ready to go. Well, I thought I was ready to go, but I was just so excited. I was just so excited to be here. And more importantly, I was excited to see Mr. The Return, who likes to bring the pain in the digital marketing game. He's the guy that sells those pics to get your clicks. He's a writer, producer, on-screen talent, Dane Becker.
That was one of those like pure wrestling commentary things where it's like, hey, you're just too excited today, Corey. You're right. When they like get a move wrong or get the name wrong. Oh, it's Rhea Bipley. I'm just so excited. I'm just so excited.
Well, this is the season 13 premiere, SMB number 185. Now that I've updated everything correctly, episode number 1 of season 13. It is titled "The Ring." Dane, when you were a child growing up, did the churches ever try to implement a abstinence ring for you to adhere to?
Yep. So being a man of private Christian school, once my mom started to take us out of extreme poverty and into middle class wealth, there was a particular one where we'd have chapel every Wednesday, and this chapel was run by, this is not fat shaming, this is not body shaming, rather, one of the largest youth pastors I've ever seen. And as you can think of what a youth pastor would look like, the second thing, if not the first that's going to come into your mind, is going to be a rotund gentleman. This guy was more than rotund. He was 8 rotunds. He was a rotation. And at one point in time, he passed around a little cardboard box of rings, and we got to watch a video on abstinence and promise to ourselves and the guys that had girlfriends that came to the same class. He picked them out. They got together, looked into each other's eyes, made a public promise in front of the... How cringy do you have to be brought up at your Wednesday chapel at your private Christian school, you and your girlfriend, in front of one of the largest pastors this side of the Winn-Dixie line, literally in front of everyone in school that you know, and be like, turn to her and promise her that you will not have sex until marriage. You're telling everybody, no, I'm not going to get anything. You're telling that in front of a school of middle schoolers. You want to talk about bullying? Wow. Boy, once you start to publicly announce your virgin shame, bro, it was relentless. So yes, we all got purity rings, yes.
So yes, the part of the story, we all got purity rings. Dude, that is hardcore because I understand that. And for those who don't understand where we're going with this episode of South Park is going to be all around Kenny himself having to adhere to a purity ring. As the boys itself open up and we find out in the cafeteria that, oh my God, if anything happened, I can't believe it happened. Kenny had a girlfriend. So Kenny takes his new girlfriend, Tammy, to see the Jonas Brothers concert in an effort to get a BJ. And this, of course, is because he finds out that she's kind of a slut. However, when he arrives at the Jonas Brothers concert, he's going to, unfortunately, end up leaving with a purity ring. But we'll go through all that. Yes, Dane, I got the quote-unquote purity ring. Did I actually use it like for a long period of time? No. Here's what happened. So I was dating this chick who wanted me to go to the church thing with her. And so And it was like this, and weirdly enough, you said Wednesday night. That really resonated with me because it was Wednesday night too. And they had like this Wednesday night youth thing, which was nice. It was like this huge mega church, and they provided pizza, and they had like a full on like LAN and inside party of video games and like all these different systems. So like they sucked you in with the pizza and the video games and the LAN parties, and then all of a sudden, boom, 8 o'clock would hit, and you have to go to this church thing. Right? So like I remember they like made all the kids, including me, get up with this girl that I was dating, and we put them on. Now, shortly after that was over, we took the rings off and we made out in the parking lot. That was a good night for Matt Schaefer. Just saying.
Good night for Matthew Schaefer, boy. Your purity ring was probably like mine. I swear to God, he got those things out of Cracker Jack boxes.
Something stupid. They weren't even like real. Well, let's start this episode as we've delayed long enough. But this is a great episode. So, to the amazement of the other boys, Kenny and his new girlfriend, Tammy, who is actually in the 5th grade, Dane. So, like, Kenny's
an older woman.
Right? The boys are shocked. They're like, oh my God, it can't finally happen. Well, all of a sudden, Butters runs up. Of course, Butters, just like in the season finale, during the Ungroundable, when he runs up during the beginning of the episode to tell the boys, hey, guess what? There's these kids in the fucking cafeteria turning vampires. In this episode, Butters once again runs up with information once more, but we're not going to get a Butters episode. That was a nice little callback to the season finale, and maybe even making you think as the viewer, oh, is this going to be another Butters episode? Because Butters is showing up right away, right?
Isn't it that shot? Is it that shot where it's like it like follows behind him and his little fucking legs?
It's just nice that Butters is that liaison of information, right? He's story catalyst that can tie and move along the story in each episode of each plot. So Butters heard a rumor, Dane, that Tammy, well, she's kind of a sexual pleasure seeker. And she gave Dave Dursky, another male student, a BJ.
No, she can't do that. Goodness gracious.
In a
absolutely
Fridays
incensed.
Parking lot.
Which honestly, isn't that where most blowjobs happen these days?
Not for me. I haven't got one in TGI Fridays parking lot. I can say that. In a park. That's true.
Yeah, Matt was about to say it was actually an Applebee's, but
park. And the girl checked it out. She picked it. That's another day, another story. So after.
Hey, Matt, I'm gay, bro. Like you said the word park, I'm like that's an entire lifestyle for me, duck. We invented that shit. Okay, I'm sorry.
Late at night, Point Defiance, Washington. You just keep your car parked there. You know that the security is going to come. Okay, anyway. So Stan, Kyle, and you know when they're going to come down, so you just wait. Anyway, so Stan, Kyle, and Cartman, hoping to spare Kenny's feelings, decide to warn him that, dude, you don't want to date this girl because she's kind of a slut. You're the slut, dude. That's what Cartman's basically trying to say, dude. This actually makes Kenny happy. This makes him ecstatic.
Woohoo!
Woohoo, yeah, indeed. So let's go ahead and we'll jump into the episode here, and we'll show a little bit of what's going on in the world of South Park.
Oh, no.
Would you look at that? It's just incredible, isn't it? I still can't believe it, even though it's right there in front of me. Yeah, it's just so astounding. Well, believe it, friends. The impossible has happened. Kenny has a girlfriend.
No, so cute.
Yeah, a 5th grade girlfriend. This is serious. They've been going out for almost 2 weeks.
2 weeks, dude.
So, who is she?
2
Her name's Tammy Warner.
weeks.
She's the only girl in school whose family is actually poorer than
She's
Kenny's.
very
Really kind of beautiful.
What a fucking dick.
You guys, I
There's a
think we have
beautiful
big
line there,
problem.
he says, though.
I still can't believe it, even though it's right there in front of me.
Cartman.
Yeah, it's just so astounding. Well, believe it, friends. The impossible has happened. Kenny has a girlfriend. Yeah, a 5th grade girlfriend. This is serious. They've been going out for almost 2 weeks now. So, who is she? Her name's Tammy Warner. She's the only girl in school whose family is actually poorer than Kenny's. Really kind of beautiful, if you ask me. You guys, I think we have a big problem. What? Well, apparently Kenny has a girlfriend.
Oh,
Yeah, dude, Tammy Warner. She's a 5th grader. Well, does Kenny like her?
moron.
I guess so. She's like the first real girlfriend ever.
Does she really like
Oh,
her?
no. Oh, jeez. Butters, what's the problem?
Yeah,
Well, I just talked to Brad Dixon. Tammy Warner is bad news.
Why?
All the fifth graders call her a slut on account of she gave this kid Dave Darsky a BJ in the parking lot of TGI Fridays. It's true. Ask anybody in fifth grade. Tammy Warner is a total slut. That bitch! Kenny gave his part to her, and she's just gonna throw it in his face.
Yeah, 10 seconds after figuring this out.
My girlfriend was a
How dare she?
I'd want you to tell
I'd want you to tell me my girlfriend.
All right, come on, guys. Jimmy, what's a BJ?
What's a BJ?
So anyway,
All right, so here's what they're going to tell him, and then we'll go back to this more.
Kenny, hey, Kenny. Listen, Kenny, we need to talk about your new girlfriend.
What better?
Oh boy, Kenny, we know you really like this girl, but
Oh, what, dude?
well, we've heard that she's Kenny. Your girlfriend is a notorious whore.
Notorious.
She even gave a kid named Dave Darsky a BJ in the parking lot of TGI Fridays.
TGI Fridays.
Huh? Your girlfriend's a slut.
You're a slut, dude.
Well, here we go. Yeah, baby. Let's go. Kenny's like, let's go. So
He does not care. He's like, yes, that's a great thing.
what a banger start to this episode. What a banger start.
You know, it's a beautiful thing. Like, why wouldn't he want
A slut for a girlfriend. Thank you.
I don't know. It only makes sense to me.
My man Matt gets it. He's been to a couple parks in his life.
So, moving after that, Kenny's ecstatic, as you saw. Cartman, of course, explains his belief that American women's mouths are the dirtiest things on earth. Kenny invites Tammy to go with him to TGI Fridays after school, which at this point, she then confesses that the rumor about her is true, which, of course, you can see Kenny excited. But she explains that the only reason why she did it is because she became tingly, as she liked to call it, but it's aroused after watching the Jonas Brothers perform. It's at this point, Kenny then goes and buys tickets to the Jonas Brothers concert. I mean, smart move. I think any guy would have done it. Like, why wouldn't you have bought the tickets for her?
Oh yeah. Okay, so like if someone's telling me, I would love to see Taste Swift, and if I could, man, I know how I get when I listen to the albums afterwards. Oh man, I just want to start jumping bones. I'm paying whatever, the $3,500 that it takes to get a nosebleed ticket, because it's gonna be worth it. Because hey, you might put it in the booty hole.
That's a lot of money for a ticket. I saw tickets for like $25,000 for Taylor Swift, and I was like, dude, that's retard. I would never pay that much for that much.
Hey, man. You know what? Like, people like Elon Musk has paid far, far more for his sex. Okay.
I'm just saying, that's not me, dog. I know dollar and money. I can't do that. I can barely buy myself stuff when I have money. I'm like, and then I'm like, oh yeah, I guess I do have money. Okay, I'll buy that. Like, I have to convince myself. I'm a cheap date. That being said, moving back into the episode here, as we mentioned, now Kenny is going to, he's going to try and buy some tickets to this Jonas Brothers concert. So let's jump back into the episode as he buys tickets for those episodes.
Before you and I were together, and it wasn't my fault. See, I was watching the Disney Channel, and that show came on with the Jonas Brothers.
Yeah?
You know that teenage boy band? Every time I see them, I get so tingly. I just completely lose control. And then Dave Darsky showed up and took me
He's
to
all
TGI
dancing in the
Fridays,
background.
And it just happened. But it was only for 1 second, and I had my eyes closed. I know it's terrible. Can you forgive me, Ken?
Ken's like, yeah.
He's like, well.
There you are, young man. 2 tickets to the Jonas Brothers concert.
Ooh.
There you are, young man. 2 tickets to Jonas Brothers. I mean, that's a smart move. That's a smart play.
It is. It's an extremely smart move. You hear it, and then Kenny not just went super excitable once he got the news. He did that thing where it's like, you know what, baby? I think I can overcome this because of my love for you. And then a hard cut to him going, thank you. Yep, that'll be 2. Do you guys sell condoms here too?
Well, after he buys these tickets, his friends are disgusted with him, right? Because they're like, dude, what's your problem? Like, you're going to take her to the concert? Why aren't you, like, breaking up with this chick? She's going to give you a BJ. That's nasty. Don't you know that? It's the second most place second most disgusting mouth in the world, Kenny. And at the concert now, many girls are, of course, freaking the fuck out, while Kenny seems to be having, of course, the worst time of his life. And I'm talking like these chicks, that the way that they mimic this. Now, look, Dane, I've never been to one of these concerts.
Really?
I've never been to one of these quote-unquote pop star concerts like this, where girls are like obsessed with a specific artist. Now, I've played in bands, and I've then consequently had sexual experiences with women who watched me play while in a crowd of packed houses and places, but I've never actually. Yeah, it was great. She was anyway. So it was great. That being said, I don't know. Is this normal that these little girls are acting this way at these concerts, Dane?
I'm
or
trying
is it
to.
more? They're going to be twerking.
I'm trying to think, because I know I've gone to, like, I got free tickets once to a tween band concert, and it's one of those tween bands where the tween band members are like 30-year-old dudes, but everybody in the audience was like, and now granted, because they were 30-year-old dudes, then their audience was like, 18, 19-year-old girls, but there was some younger people there. But I'm no James Charles here, so we'll just focus on the of age 18 and 19-year-old girls. And this was when I was not that old, only a few years older than that, but I got free tickets to a tween concert, had no idea who the people were, went over to the Palace, watched it. Man, I will say that once they started playing the hits, you wouldn't, there hadn't been that many short skirts this side of the back of a Hot Topic store. Like, it was kind of crazy. They got down and dirty, man. They got down. I was with my boyfriend. You would have thought he was going to get an X and I was going to get an X. Like, what the heck is going on here? So I will say it's tantamount to when you go to one of those Foreigner, Def Leppard double concerts, and all the big moms who are, two kids out of the house, their name is Barbara. They started looking around for, like, who's my next BWC bull here, right? So it's a very similar vibe. You got the tween concerts, and then you got the old rock revivals, and you know what? They just kind of get randy at both. I hope that answered your question.
That sort of answered my question. Let's see.
Shut the hell up, man.
Let's see what happens. All right. He's all like, what the?
Kenny, you're the best for bringing me here. Isn't this awesome?
I'm ready to get it on. There's no getting on till I'm ready. Slow down. Take it easy on the girl. I need your love.
No, okay.
I can't wait to get until then I have to diss you. My mom doesn't like it.
Oh, girl twerking.
I love you. She'll make me clean my room if I'm not it. Bye bye.
Bye-bye. All right, that's it. I didn't want to go play the whole song. I just wanted to get to it. Bye-bye. So as you heard there, they were at the concert. And now, after the concert, here's what goes down. Kenny's excited because, she's all worked up. And he thinks he's about to get some action in the parking lot at TGI Fridays now. But he gets called out, or at least his girlfriend does, because she was having such a crazy amount of time playing in the audience, freaking out, that they called her backstage. So they call her backstage, and now backstage, Kenny's girlfriend, along with a little group of other girls, are brought into the Jonas Brothers' room, and that is where they're given their purity ring. Dane, we're going to jump into that scene here and show what happens. When she gets invited backstage, and all the little girls are first like, I'm not going to do anything sexual. And the moment the Jonas Brothers come in, mouths go right open.
They want us to give them blowjobs.
That's good. He wanted to give us blowjobs.
And is waiting for you. Not you.
I bought the fucking tickets, he says. Hey, what the
Jonas
fuck?
Brothers will be right out, girls.
Jonas Brothers,
I
you
think they
ready?
called us back here.
They must have want to have sex with us.
Hey, must have sex with us.
They called us back here so we can give them blowjobs.
Blowjobs.
Well, I'm not doing it. Just because they're rock stars doesn't mean I'll do that. Yeah, I'm not giving a blowjob to anybody. Me neither.
Hey there, girls. Hey, listen. We saw you out there in the audience. Yeah,
The way they're
you look
standing.
crazy out there. Let's
You look
just
crazy
get to
out
the
there.
blowjob.
Let's get
Blow
a blowjob.
what? I don't know. Look,
Blow
we called you back here
what?
Because we want to share our love of Christ with you and
Oh.
see if you'll wear beauty rings from now on.
Okay, we're not gonna do this. You get it.
We get enough knocks at the door as it is. This is literally people were like, "Oh no, yeah, I knew the Jonas Brothers had purity rings on the show and stuff, and Disney and everything." But no, you could. This is literally what they did. They pulled people in the back. They talked about Christ. They wouldn't do it openly at the concert because you don't want Disney getting accused of proselytizing to a bunch of children. Owl City does. But yeah, they used to do this. Bro, you used to be able to get Disney brand purity rings at the show, merch at the table. They had a Jonas Brothers shops in the kingdom. Like, what are you talking about?
I do point out before we move on, just because I like the voice, whoever's doing this voice for this actress, the little girl in this scene that she went, I'm not going to have sex with him just because they're rock stars. Not the one that's got the weird voice, the other girl.
Yes.
She's also the same voice from last week's episode from Ungroundable that she goes, and I quote,
Yo.
we're just as dark as you, maybe even darker.
Oh my God! See, only Matt Schaefer Gregory III Esquire DDS Italian can remember shit like this. All I was thinking, funny enough that you said that, all I was thinking during that scene is like, man, this voice actress is really killing it. Went from like 4 different girls and 3 different tones. Like, goodness.
I'm glad that she got
You're
rehired
good.
from the.
You're good.
I said previous season, because like that's why when we reviewed it last week, me and Joe did, I was like, I love this part. Hey, we're just as dark as you, maybe even darker. And then the guy goes, all right, why don't you get out of here, count? And I can't say the word, but me and Joe were like, man, I wish Dane was here because we can't say that word.
I was like, what word could that be? Never mind. I get it.
Count homosexual, I guess is what he was saying. The F word.
Why don't you get out of here, Count Fagula?
There you go. I can't say it.
I don't hand out those passes, okay?
Yeah, that's fine. Hey, you do. You got to join the team, and I'm not ready to join that team.
No, man, no. Yeah, a little bit of therapy. Yeah, okay, sorry.
I'm willing to take a boat ride with y'all to the island, but once we get there, I'm like, all right, have a good night, and I'm going to see you later.
Yeah,
Once we get to the island.
Some weird things happen at Casa Bonita's Pirate Grotto. Some weird things happen.
I'll pick you guys up in the morning. Bye. I'm going home.
Y'all have all the fun you want. It's just me, Joe, and a bunch of Coloradian thin boys. Okay, I don't know why I'm bringing Joe into this. He ain't even here to defend himself and or accept the invitation.
That's fine. That's fine. Joe, shout out to you. Shout out to 2022 Rock South Park Trivia Champion at Trivia. God. Moving back into this episode now. Now that Kenny gets his freaking his sexual plan interrupted, they put on the purity rings, and what ends up happening is that it's like they're married, and they end up hanging out with other couples who are wearing purity rings. And in fact, they even parody. So yes, we find it me and Sally find it just better to hang out with couples who are also wearing purity rings. We love watching Grey's Anatomy, don't you? And yeah,
I mean, honestly, that was really perfect, Matt.
That's how them white people be talking. That's how them white folk be talking. You know what I'm saying? I grew up with them.
Isn't that right, Sarah? Oh, we love Grey's Anatomy.
You're right. Isn't that right, Sarah? Yes, we love Grey's Anatomy. Yes, we do. All right. Here, let's skip forward. As we mentioned, after the kids put on the damn purity rings, And they're also playing this music in the background. I got a party ring. Baby.
Bye. After girls, it's a promise I can never break. I made a commitment and it is forever, so we can spend every waking minute together. And if we get bored, it won't be a problem, cause we can just hang out with other couples who wear these rings. Bye-bye.
Yeah, we found out that once you wear purity rings, it's best to hang out with other couples that do.
Best hang out
Got
with
more
other
in
folks.
common, isn't that right, Sarah? You know what Carol and I really enjoy is Grey's Anatomy. We love Grey's Anatomy, don't we, Carol? We adore
Carol.
Grey's Anatomy, don't we, Nancy?
Adore it.
Kenny and Tammy, do you watch Grey's Anatomy?
We look forward to it all week long.
I got a ring on my finger to remind me what I cannot do. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Yo, man. Oh, God, that song slapped. I forgot how hard that song slapped.
You could bump that in the car.
Oh, my God. You pass the aux cord and someone plays that, I'm sucking their dick right then and there.
Whoa. Dane's making proclamations here, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, hallelujah.
So now that they've had this purity ring, here's what happens. It gets revealed, at least Kenny becomes dull as a result, and he basically ceases to spend time with his friends. Like, the boys are all like, dude, Kenny, you were supposed to like throw cow turds with us at cars like yesterday or something like that. And it is revealed to them, or at least through their investigation, that the Jonas brothers are forcing these kids to wear these parody rings, not by choice, but they're being forced to promote it by Mickey Mouse as a way to promote them as, you know, these pure, innocent stars, because it allows them to give sex to young girls while keeping the appearance of innocence and purity. Like, sell sex to them, essentially, right? So concerned for their friend, Stan, Kyle, and Cartman go and attempt to confront the Jonas brothers at a televised appearance in Denver. However, Mickey is going to believe that they're hired by DreamWorks or Michael Eisner to sabotage Disney, is going to tranquilize them and take them prisoner. Is that good, Dean? I think I've got us caught up, right?
Yeah, prisoner is both a hard and a light word for this, but yes, I agree.
Okay. All right, so let's go ahead and we'll show some of that. What breaks down here.
Maybe we'll just refuse to go on stage. Woof.
Oh!
Fucking talk to me like that! You little piece of shit!
You little piece of shit, huh?
Get the fuck up! Get the fuck up!
Get the fuck up, you little bitch!
Now, do we have a problem? No, sir. No, Mr. Mouse.
No, Mr. Mouse.
No, Mr. Mouse.
Oh, that's funny. I guess this was a point.
You? We want you back, dude.
Oh, here we go. Here's Kenny.
All right, now get out there and make me some goddamn money.
As he leaves. Now here's Kenny.
Yep.
He's looking at Grey's Anatomy.
Dude, what the hell are you doing, Kenny? This is the day we were supposed to throw cow turds at cars together.
Cars.
We've
That was
had
close.
just about enough, dude. You've been blowing us off for 2 weeks now. What's up?
Turds at cars?
Yeah, that's what you do. Denver.
Grey's Anatomy? Kenny, what kind of douchebag garbage are you watching? Come on, Kenny, this isn't you. We want you back, dude. Kenny?
Yeah.
Kenny? Wanna look at Playboys? Wanna get high sniffing paint? Kenny? You want your Grey's Anatomy back, Kenny?
Oh, very cool. This is a great season. Look at cool.
Poor Kenny. Poor Kenny.
They always have to go to Kenny's house and find him in situations that they want to pull him from but do not know how. And this is just like the cat pee. And just like the cat pee, he is stuck in a world to where he's got the boobies right there. They're right there, Matt. But yet he cannot touch them.
Well, I also think that is a commentary on, young age kids. Some kids can be kind of shy to make that move, right? And maybe, Kenny just keeps creating mental blocks for himself so that way he doesn't have to go all the way. he couldn't agree that.
Yeah. I mean, I believe it. You know, I think this whole thing is shallow and pedantic. But who am I to argue with the religious right and the religious left?
Right. So here's now at the Jonas Brothers Good Morning Denver as they're about to announce their worldwide television show that's going to be the most pure thing for little girls and families all over the world. And as we mentioned, Stan, Kyle, and Cartman have had it up to here with this bullshit. So now they're going to confront Mickey and the Jonas Brothers live at the Good Morning America Denver show.
Yep. Well, can you give our audience a peek? What do you say, girls? You want the Jonas Brothers to douse you with their white foam?
This is TV Gold.
Excuse us.
You like taking the Jonas Brothers hot foam in your faces, girls?
Hey, those Jonas Brothers are assholes. Yeah, the purity rings turned our friend into a douche.
Kiss me, silly Joe.
What the hell do you think you're doing spreading this crap to kids?
Who the hell are these guys?
All out too.
DreamWorks?
Cartman knows what a fucking
they're trying to hurt this company again.
This whole thing is a freaking
Are
scam.
they from
I see what
DreamWorks?
you're doing now. You're trying to sell sex to young girls and then confuse them about this.
Yep, Cartman does not. You can't fuck Cartman over. He's a genius.
You aren't ruining my plans this time, DreamWorks.
Bro, they took him out.
They took them all out.
Oh my God! It's the toilet paper industry.
But yeah, dude, like you cannot. Like Cartman was ready to call this shit out. I see what's going on here.
Like Cartman, can you really face the mouse?
Like Cartman though was like it took him 30 seconds to figure it out. Like he didn't. He was, I see what's going on here. Like he got it. Like,
yeah. Like don't worry, Cartman. I think almost everybody can see what's going on here.
I know, but it's just great because like he's able to like call that shit out right away because he's probably that's some shit he would do. Maybe not with little girls. He would do it a different way. He would exploit somebody, a bunch of people a different way for monetary gain as well. But I don't know if he would exploit little girls like that. That might be a little too much for Cartman because Cartman doesn't know a lot about girls. So that's not something that's his forte. You know what I mean? Anyway, moving on now, as you saw the boys, they were tranquilized, and now they wake up backstage as Mickey's beating the shit out of him, and kind of like, who sent you, huh? Was it DreamWorks? The DreamWorks sent you, those motherfuckers, huh? Was it Michael Eisner? Did you say it was sabotaging? Eisner always trying to fuck with our shit. Right? So after Mickey interrogates him, he then threatens to kill them with a chainsaw. As Mickey once again rants about his true intentions, insulting the Jonas Brothers, though, and they're Christians, Kyle and Cartman notice that there's a microphone, and they stealthily turn on this microphone. And after doing so, they raise the curtain behind Mickey. So Mickey is sitting there ranting, bullshitting about how all these, anti-youth and anti-Christian people are stupid, and how like he hates them and they're idiots. And then of course the crowd is going to turn on Mickey after his scheme is exposed, and that will lead to the Jonas Brothers leaving in a bit of a huff. They're not too happy, as they were trying to get out of the contract, as you saw, but Mickey beat the shit out of them, so he wasn't going to let that happen. All right, so here's now backstage with the boys and them, trying to get fucking Mickey.
I sure believe that. You just tried to ruin Disney Company's big night for your own amusement, huh?
The hell did you do to us?
Shut up!
And now, Disney Channel presents the Jonas Brothers 3D Concert Spectacular, live from Red Rocks Amphitheater in Colorado. Truly a night of magic as we're set for the biggest concert event of the year.
In about 10 minutes, the Jonas Brothers are going to take the stage in what Disney is calling the most pure and innocent rock event of the millennia.
Oh, yes, of course.
On now, Dada?
Not yet, Katie.
Do we put the 3D glasses
on? Everyone around the country is tuning in to see Disney's
Not yet,
latest
Katie.
hip-hop
I'll touch you
stars.
later.
We understand the Jonas Brothers are getting ready. What's
He's
going on
giving up,
backstage
Matt.
must
He's
be
giving up.
exciting.
You better start talking! You better start talking right now!
We told you, we aren't working for another studio, and there isn't a plan to sabotage your big night. We came on our own because our friend's purity ring is killing him.
You're lying! I'll cut you up!
You see? We were right about the purity rings. A nice Christian symbol can't be used for profit gains.
We've all anchored God.
You think God is in control here? I am in control. I've been in control since the 50s, in case you haven't noticed.
I've been in control since the 50s.
Are going on stage, and you three maggots aren't going to stop me. Nobody is ruining this event.
Because Mickey goes that way.
I've worked too long
No, definitely Mickey's using that kind of slur, bro.
Where
Ain't
would
no
you
way
be
he
without
ain't.
me, Jonas Brothers? Your
Right?
music sucks.
Oh my
and
God.
You know it.
And it gets
It's because
exposed.
you make little girls' Chinese tickle. And when little girls' Chinese tickle, I make money. And that's because little girls are fucking stupid. And the purity rings make it okay to do whatever I want.
Because Kenny's girlfriend is like just
are too
looking
fucking
at him.
stupid to figure out I'm selling sex to their daughters. I've made billions off of Christian ignorance for decades now. And do you know why? Because Christians are retarded. They believe in a talking dead God.
Yo! Oh my God!
Oh wow! They straight up called out Christian. You're
Yo,
right. And the Mickey. That's pretty good.
I forgot they went that far. Oh, there wasn't an inch of that. That was not true and is not true even up to this day. Every single piece of that is accurate. People think these cold ass companies with these you don't get $1 billion without one, knowing the human condition, and two, understanding that all you can need to do is exploit it to the 9th degree. And also, Matt,
I
don't know if, sorry, go.
For the purposes of someday wanting to appear in a Disney film, I for one welcome our Disney overlords. So I am totally okay with.
Oh
Disney.
yeah, Disney's great. They want to throw me some money for one of my quite amazing and inexpensive film projects, please.
Please contact my agent so I can audition for Silver Surfer. Thank you, appreciate you. Thank you. Thanks,
yeah, you would be good at that. You'd have to lose your hair.
That's fine. I'll do that. Or it's all like fucking silver anyway. It's just my voice, you know.
Yeah, they'll modulate that anyway.
Yeah, it's all CG. I would just wear like a green screen suit with some face paint or something, probably. Anyway, moving on here to the climax, as the boys the girls had foam climax all over their face earlier. Mickey grows to gigantic proportions and begins breathing fire and destroying Denver. It's unknown what came of him after this, as the news reporter states that Mickey merely returns to Valhalla to slumber and feed.
What?
He turns giant, and then he's going to be upset, and then he's going to return to Valhalla and slumber and feed.
Makes sense to me.
Tam and Kenny then remove their purity rings, and Tammy suggests they go to TGI Fridays, presumably so she can perform oral sex on him. Afterwards, it then cuts to a fucking funeral scene with Kenny, who's dead, who's contracted syphilis and died for the first time since season 11, proving Cartman's warning about Americans' mouth being disgusting. I tried to warn him.
No, Kenny, no. All right, Matt, just give it to us.
Let's wrap up this episode as far as on the visual standpoint here, and we'll show what happens when Kenny finally takes the... Oh, let's show what happens when Mickey returns to Valhalla.
That's it, girls. No more Disney TV for a while.
He turned it off mid-massacre.
The Disney Jonas Brothers 3D television special has failed, costing the Disney company millions, and once again, Mickey is pissed off and throwing a fit.
Vengeance is mine! You're all ants and I am your destroyer!
The Disney Purity Ring venture will most likely now prove a marketing bust, as Mickey returns to Valhalla to slumber and feed.
Okay. To slumber and feed.
All right, we mentioned we don't need to go through this whole diatribe. They take the rings off here. After taking the rings off here, as we mentioned, they're going to be at the funeral because he's going to die and he's going to get syphilis. Here we go. Do it and boom.
And so, as we commit this young child to the earth,
Let us all be reminded that syphilis is still a deadly disease, and it can be caught even if using protection. This young boy learned the hard way.
I told him. Woman's mouth is the most germ-ridden place on Earth, I said. Statistically, the most unsafe place for a man to put his penis, I said.
Well, now we know.
Yeah, we know.
And knowing is half the battle.
Knowing is half the battle.
He says as he stares directly at the camera.
How the episode ends with him saying that knowing is half the battle. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's your full recap from a visual and auditorial standpoint. We'll be right back on the other side with some trivia, pop culture, and more news. We'll be right back. Woo! Subscribe to Suck My Balls, a South Park review on Spotify, Apple's, iTunes, anywhere you want to download a podcast. Just type that in, subscribe to our feed, and you'll get the latest, greatest episode each and every week. You can also listen to us on YouTube and go back and watch some videos or any of our library. It's all there. Suck My Balls, South Park review. And we are back on the other side. Once again, shout out to our sponsors provided there by Spreaker. Please go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button if you're watching right here on YouTube. Linktr.ee/SouthParkPod. Come on, guys. I'd appreciate if you hit that like and subscribe button. Share it.
Please.
So we can get more subscribers. We're pretty close to getting monetized on YouTube. And, it'd be pretty cool.
Daddy needs that sweet, sweet change.
Otherwise, I'm going to tell Dane to find somebody to buy this show, and we're just going to put this on Sirius, and then there you go. Help me out here, Dane.
I'm telling you, dude, if we go back to the 3 to 4 hour talk radio format, Opie and Anthony H3 podcast, we can get on Sirius in a heartbeat, man. They need the content. Sam Roberts is not giving them enough.
Well, what I was thinking is we have a whole library of content, so we could go live doing this show, but also we could sell, as far as for syndication rights, the other 180 plus episodes in podcast format. So there's no reason why. We've got thousands of hours of content.
Very much agreed. Very much agreed.
Also, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, you can also check us out in the South Park fan club group. Over 137,000 members. Check us out there. Dane, you need to help me get money for that. We'll talk later.
Off camera, off screen. If anyone wants to join, it is one of the largest South Park groups on Facebook.
It is. I believe it's the largest South Park group Facebook, period. We are the purveyor and the administrator of South Park knowledge, love, and information. It's very inclusive. We don't care what you do. You want to ship all day. I don't give a ship. See what I did there?
You said it. Let's go through it. Stenny. All right. Okay. What was Cartman and Butters? Cutters, but that was the emo side of it. We'll just call it Bartman. All right. This is the kind of ship you were talking about, right? Okay. Anyway, Tweaking Craig, which is famously Creek. Let's see. How much more gayer can we get? I was really into this back in the day. All right. They were always aged up. Okay, I'm sorry.
I am not the 2022 Red Rocks Day 1 South Park Trivia Champion. I am not a trivia... God.
How dare you not?
I will do my best, so I hope you enjoy some of the trivia that I'm going to break down for you. This is the first South Park episode to be broadcast in 16:9 HD. This is one of the 3 post-rebirth episodes that have a plotline focusing solely on Kenny, other than Major Boobage and Best Friends Forever. A clip from this episode is used as Kenny lines for the opening theme for Season 14, Season 15, and Season 16. Kenny purchased a box of condoms for protection when Tammy Warner gave him a BJ. The condoms failed, which we know because Kenny died of syphilis shortly after. So the question is, why would he put the condom on and get a BJ, though? That's weird. You don't get... Everybody knows that. In the commentary for this episode, Trey Parker mentions the line, my Giny tickles. That was one of the things, I guess, one of the girls saying during the concert came from Comedy Central employee who took her 8-year-old daughter to see the Jonas Brothers, which later caused the daughter to say, Mommy, my Giny tickles. He found this hilarious and put that into the episode.
Motherfucker, Trey must have laughed at that for 6 years. That's hilarious.
Jenny Simons and Esther are both at the concert as well. And then here's a quick breakdown in this episode itself. if you will. If I didn't tell you at the top of the episode, it came out in March of 2009, March 11th, 2009, as the first episode of season 13, the 182nd overall episode. That being said, in regards to the trivia for this episode, that year being of 2009, they, on the Red Rocks poster, they actually had a, I guess there was a chart with upcoming events, and it said March 9th, the Jonas Brothers, March 9th, Felines, March 9th, Broncos versus Raiders, April 9th, Nuggets versus Lakers, May 9th, ABBA, Mia, June 9th, the Truckmania and the Triple X games, July 9th, the Stinky Britches tour. So
you got stinky britches, stinky britches.
They were foreshadowing there. Promise Keepings on July 9th, and Dino Walkabout. And in this episode particular, in Latin America, Kenny's voice is actually clearly heard in this episode. This may be due to having leading roles. They decided to have understandable dialogues, so they actually let you clearly. A couple references to some pop culture for you. This title sounds like, of course, somewhat to the American remake of Ringu of the same name, The Ring, which before you die, see The Ring. We talked a little bit about the Jonas Brothers already. At this point, they were originally known for being on Disney Channel in 2009, and they appealed to tweens, like you mentioned, right? And the Purity Rings. The songs playing in this episode were parodies of the Jonas Brothers' real songs, Burning Up, When You Looking at Me, and SOS, apparently.
Bye-bye!
They actually admitted in 2016 that the Jonas Brothers finding this episode hysterical, and they found the scene of them beating up Mickey to be the most, or getting beaten up by Mickey actually to be the most particularly funny. So good for them. They have a good
yeah, I wonder why that was the funniest to them. I wonder why.
Right?
Because it's true.
Oh, man. We saw that Mickey Mouse and Walt Disney were featured heavily, with the former having previously appeared in Imagination Land. Mickey also uses his well-known laugh at the end of most of his. He's also shown fire breathing. That is a reference to the fact that he was able to do so in a float in places such as Disneyland, apparently. This episode also addresses the affinity of young girls for teen idols such as the Jonas Brothers, with this being heavily parodied in scenes, but also contains sexual innuendo such as the Jonas Brothers seeing their female audience at their 3D concert with white foam. Sorry, spraying them with white foam. Last couple things.
Sorry.
Last couple things of pop culture. Grey's Anatomy and the online DVD service Netflix are both parody in this episode. They were both, of course, being used as the newfound interest of boring couples practicing celibacy due to their purity rings. And, of course, Grey's Anatomy had a hold over Kenny at one point in the episode. During the funeral scene where Cartman says, knowing is half the battle, that, of course, as I mentioned, was from G.I. Joe, which is a parody of the 1980s
Bible.
When the boys find Kenny in the bookstore, a poster can be seen in the back advertising The Catcher in the Rough, which is a parody of The Catcher in the Rye, which is, of course, going to be later mentioned in Season 14's The Tale of Scrody McBoogerballs. When Kenny returns from the concert with his purity ring, last thing here, Cartman makes a comment about B.J. McKay and his best friend Bear. This is a late reference to the 1970s NBC TV show, Dane, B.J. and the Bear.
Okay.
I know.
Was that like a buddy cop comedy with like a girl and a giant bear? Like,
I don't, you'll have to go Google it if you'd like to know more information. We're gonna move. Unless you want me to tell you about it.
I don't want you to tell me about Bingo and the Bear.
BJ and the Bear. Here's some continuity stuff. Despite being described Kenny's real girlfriend, we actually know for a fact that he had a girlfriend in Rainforest Schmainforest. She remained in contact with him after he left the choir, as well as referenced in Spontaneous Combustion. That was, of course, Kelly, who he met with the Getting Gay with Kid choir. Oh, save me, Kenny! Or whatever his name was at the time.
Jesus Christ.
During the concert, when the young girls are seen getting aroused by the Jonas Brothers, we see a glimpse of Mr. Slave, and he uses his catchphrase, "Oh, Jesus Christ," as he masturbates, marking his first appearance since Season 9's Follow That Egg. Noticeably, Big Big Gay Al is absent from the scene, even though Matt and Stone later, or at least they stated in Fallout 8 that they plan to retire Mr. Slate. Also present is the baby Chantel, who appeared on the Maury Povich show in the episode Freak Strike. You know, the one there's a whore? Maury, I can't do anything. Okay, anyways.
I totally remember.
Look for the True Freak label.
Oh, God.
You can see what...
Sorry.
All right. Right here in the USA. You can see one of the
Quave Sisters.
You can see one of the Quave Sisters on the poster after Kenny buys concert tickets. Kenny buys tickets for the concert. One of the upcoming events is Stinky Britches.
You got Stinky Britches.
Which Chef wrote in, which was heard in Chef Aid, as well as Prehistoric Iceman, and of course will be referenced again about Randy when he goes through his midlife crisis again once more. Kenny looks out the window. He sees Kyle Stan and Cartman toilet papering a house. They, along with Kenny, TB'd a house before and got in trouble for it in toilet paper. Last three things here. A few of the girls in the audience were the exact same girls in Stupid Spoiled Horror.
Video play set, so everybody, your cooch.
Cooch. This is Kenny's since the episode The List. Damn, Ken. And of course, The List is that episode where they find out who all the good-looking boys are at school. Mickey Mouse makes his debut as a character previously only seen as a crude and both literally and figurative drawing in Eek a Penis. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is, of course, your goofs. I'm sorry, your continuity.
Continuity, pop culture.
Your trivia. Trivia, of course. Dane, what did you like about this episode?
So in this episode, Matt, the distinct memory I've had, and I referenced this in a couple times in the past, but South Park, much like wrestling, I had phases. Now, whereas wrestling, I had quite a large, pauses. Whereas wrestling, I had quite a large pause from the early 2000s to I joined back in 2012. This was a short pause, but I remember that the Ungroundable and then The Ring were how I started to catch back up. And then, of course, I got back on the South Park Studios website, which had changed since then. It had no more chat room, all that stuff. But you could still watch episodes for free right before they were all taken to Hulu and everything on SPS became clips. So this was a thing that stuck in my mind when this was going to be our next episode and my next episode that I appeared on, because it was like, man, I remember this very distinctly because I remember it being that era to where I was right back in it, and then I don't think I ever let go. Other things that I loved is the commentary on Disney, as the Jonas Brothers loved too, and the start of the beautiful character that is South Park's Mickey Mouse. So that's about it. And then dislikes, not really. Another classic episode, another great South Park commentary.
Good start to season 13. Mm-hmm. A couple things here. I'm not going to do the whole "What did Kenny say?" backdrop of song. But Kenny did have some lines here, so I do want to point out a couple things here. In one of the scenes here, he's talking about with Cartman and Kyle and all of them. He's just finding out about the slut stuff. And this is after he buys the tickets, and he says, "Aren't those queer modes on the Disney Channel?" That's what Kyle says. And Kenny says, "Yeah, Tammy said if I got her tickets for the concert, she would give me a BJ." Stan says a BJ. Kyle says, "You want Tammy to give you a BJ?" And Kenny's like, "Of course, dude." Cartman goes, "Kenny, you gonna let a girl put her mouth on your wiener? You know how disgusting that is? Girls' mouths full of germs." And Stan's like, "Yeah, dude, that's gross." And Kenny's like, "I don't care. I've got to get some protection." So they go buy condoms. Kyle says, "Dude, aren't you a little young for this?" And Kenny's like, "No, I'm not young. I want a BJ." And he buys. And then this is funny. Here's what Cartman says. Cartman says, "Just because you have condoms doesn't mean you're safe, Kenny. Statistically speaking, the most bacteria-ridden place on the planet is the mouth of an American woman. And you're going to let that girl near your penis?" And he's like, "Yep, woohoo." So that was just one of the many scenes here. Later on, when their show is over, Kenny says, "All right, come on, let's go back to the parking lot." But eventually they don't, right? Because they go backstage. And Kenny says, "Oh, no, we're going to your place now." And Tammy says, "It's a dream come true." And Kenny says, "Hey." And he says, "No, fuck that, dude. I bought the fucking tickets," as he gets kicked out. So that was one of the other scenes. We talked about the purity ring stuff here. And Kenny at one point says, it means I'm going to be pure and not have sex until I get married. And Stan says, dude, we thought you really wanted to have a BJ before you got too old. And he's like, I did. I was really excited to get a BJ, but now I have to wear this motherfucking purity ring. And Kyle's like, all right, Kenny, calm down. You're too young to be getting a BJ anyway. It's good. You and Tammy are making a commitment to each other, and that isn't based on sex. And Kenny says, yeah, but then he cries and walks away.
Boo!
So that's really just of what Kenny says here. The rest of the episode, he doesn't have more than one-liners of yeah and woohoo. And then at the end of the episode, we talked about where he says, I agree. Let's put this DVD and watch Grey's Anatomy. And she says, take off the ring. He says, take off the ring. You can't take off the ring. And so they take it off, and he says, yeah, screw this crap. And then she says, I feel better already. And he says, me too. And then what say you and me go to TGI Fridays? And as we heard, that is when Kenny dies. So ladies and gentlemen, that's kind of the gist of what Kenny's lines were in this episode. That's your full recap, your trivia, your pop culture. Dane's final thoughts. I enjoyed this episode. Another cult classic. Started off season 13 well, gave Kenny the focal point here, and Kenny dies. He's going to come back in the next episode. And we'll find out later, coming up here, the next season 13, season 14, with the Rise of Cthulhu, why Kenny has that superpower. Is he, of course, well, I don't want to spoil it. You'll have to stick around, or you'll have to check it out then. Dane, any last-minute thoughts before we give the outro on this episode?
No last-minute thoughts. Joe, you are missed. Joe's neck, you are missed more. And other than that, I hope whoever's listening to this is having a great week.
Well, of course, ladies and gentlemen, check out Joe Vernola, check out Joe Vernola at Primo's Pro Wrestling. Slave to the Deathmatch 14, I believe, is getting ready to come up. You're doing 2 days. You'll be able to watch it on Fight, or you can get tickets if you're live in the Denver area, or make the trip. 2 days of nonstop death match, cage match, crazy match, barbed wire, boards, tacks, nails, and wood like we saw at AEW's Blood, Guts, and more. Go check out Primo's Pro Wrestling.
Ooh, baby.
And I also was advertising. I think he just did some work for a company called Battleground Pro Wrestling, BPW, because he sent that link over. So go check out their YouTube link and check it out. And also comment that Joe's great. You should just put that in the comments. Joe does a great job, and he deserves all the recognition. So go do that, Joe.
My
Vernola.
Johnny tickles.
My Johnny tickles. Ladies and gentlemen, this man likes to bring the pain in the digital marketing game. He likes to solicit your picks to get your picks. He's a writer, director, producer, editor, animator, on-screen talent. He works for Derby City Wrestling and more. Ladies and gentlemen, Dane Becker.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have massive, gigantic, super news. If you're in the Indiana, Kentucky, Ohio, or Tennessee areas, Derby City Wrestling this August 6th at the Norton Healthcare Sports and Learning Center has now become a, what's that? Free show, free admission for anyone that wants to show up. And with our partnership with Neighborhood Place and the Louisville Urban Athletic League, we have free school supplies, free back to school supplies, free backpacks, free ACT prep, and a free wrestling show with all of the greatest that you've seen both locally and internationally. Guys, come out. It's free for you. It's free for the kids. It's entertainment for them. It's headaches off of you. And if you haven't been able to afford a notebook, afford those pencils, afford those pens, everything's getting more expensive, we're going to provide that all for free while supplies last. Derby City Wrestling, August 6th, in conjunction with the Louisville Urban League, One West, Neighborhood Place, and sponsored by Car Shield. And one more thing, Matt, don't cut me off quite yet. On top of that, Professional Wrestling Alliance out of Indiana is going to have their Swiss Wine Super Show August 24th at the Swiss Wine Festival. For more info, go to SwissWineFestival.org.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, Becker's working here. That's why he's been busy. We're happy to, of course, have him back always on his own podcast. But ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for another edition of SMB. South.
I'm so close.
We're back. We appreciate you stopping on by. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to come back for quite possibly, it's up there. I'd say I have to really look over season 13. But this next episode might be my favorite episode in season 13 because it is the rise of the coup. We'll see what happens next week when the Coon and Mysterion make their debut as superheroes finally make an appearance in the town of South Park. Professor Chaos finally has some foes. We'll find out next week on another edition. Hey, Joe showed me this last week, right? It's funny.